On today's Try to Finish Something, hopefully you've been at least planning for your build-along challenge with Kelly Stern and I. We're fans of carbon freezing. I'm doing the Baby Yoda frozen in carbonite, and he's doing the Monkey Lizard frozen in carbonite. I know this is nothing for the rest of the country, but it's California, and it's so cold I can see my breath. So we're fans of carbon freezing seems appropriate. So I've got that challenge going on, and you have till the end of the year to finish that one. And next week, the book of Boba Fett starts, and I got a call from Odin of Odin Makes, and he said, hey, let's do a challenge. I'll build something and you build something, and we'll see who everybody thinks is better. I've already got a challenge going on, but there's absolutely no way that I'm going to say no. And he said, anything in mind? And I said, You've been watching the commercials for Book of Boba Fett, and this could be a bit of a spoiler. It's in the commercials, and this is just a fan theory, and I'll post the link to the fan theory, but there's a shot where Boba Fett is walking through a doorway, and it looks like a post-Sarlacc Boba Fett. He's got a different outfit on, and there's a bunch of rumors as to what building he's walking into, and it goes all the way back to the original Star Wars movie. And so Odin said, I think we should build a power converter. You know, when Luke's out there and he says to Uncle Owen, I was going to get power converter. Remember that whole scene? So we're going to build our idea of what we think a power converter actually looks like. He's going to build one, and I'm going to build one. And I said, I had an idea too, watching all of those commercials, and I'd like to build a weapon from the Book of Boba Fett. A weapon that Boba Fett carries, and not the blaster that I've already built. I have an idea. And he said, all right, two things. We each have to build a power converter and a weapon as seen in the Book of Boba Fett. Something Boba Fett would wield around, and I've got some ideas, and I've got to work on that, but that's not what I'm doing on today's Try to Finish Something. I have kidney stones, and my kidney stones are killing me, and I'm going to have to get surgery, so I'm going to try and do something simple. I have a build idea, and speaking of Boba Fett and the Sarlacc pit, I'd like to get some texture and maybe paint the top of my Clever 3D Studio Boba Fett helmet. And I'm going to work on that and try and see if I can get an accurate version of the paint peeling from the Sarlacc's acid after being ingested into this big sandworm thing, and I'm going to see if I can make this helmet look screen accurate. And that's what I'm going to do on today's Try to Finish Something. So here is my Boba helmet printed by Clever 3D Studio on Etsy. A great company and a great quality helmet. And I've obsessed over this thing, trying to get it so that it's silky smooth, and I'm obsessing over it a bit more. Modeling putty to fill in some of the areas that I will be sanding yet again. I know, painted it the official proper green, and now I'm changing my mind. I was going to do the... It's painful to say. I was going to do the Boba Fresh version from The Mandalorian, the version where somehow Boba sneaks back into the ship and repaints his helmet and all of his armor. I'm not sure where the time was for all of that, but in the groups they're calling it the Boba Fresh version. And I'm not sure that as I'm wearing it, I can tell people that that is what I'm wearing. I don't know if I can say Boba Fresh, other than right now. So my Mando is the Season 1 pre-Beskar version, the one that he stayed in for the shortest amount of time, and it's still my favorite. So what am I doing? I am changing to the post-Sarlacc Boba Fett, the one that Cobb Vanth had, and then Boba got back and did some of that good old-fashioned butt-kicking at the end of the Mandalorian season, the one that he stays in the shortest amount of time. I don't know why this has suddenly become my thing. So as soon as I get this smooth, I'm going to add texture to this. This is the armor that has been through the digestive tract of the Sarlacc pit. The acid was peeling the paint down to the smooth metal and causing blistering, peeling, and creating that orange peel-like surface on every part that still had color. So I'm going to use a technique that I played around with on a test piece, and in order to make this work, I do have to have this glassy smooth, and I have to have a glossy black surface. So now, here is my Boba in glossy black. I'm thinking of masking off the parts that will be the shiny metal with some of my leftover liquid latex from Halloween. Maybe not. This has been exposed to the air too much, and it's a weird combination of super chunky and really watery, and it's not the right consistency at all. Never mind. This is going in the garbage. I think when it's time to do the masking, I'm going to go with a cheap standby white toothpaste, but first, I'm going to mix in some mineral spirits and Bondo putty, and I'm going to stipple on the texture with a chip brush. So my plan is to do a very thin, light texture where I want the colored, textured paint. Because the mineral spirits are evaporating so quickly, I'm going to go very thin and light so that it dries quickly. And in my next round, I'm going overly thick in places, and because of that shiny black smooth layer, I wind up getting a cracked surface while it dries and the Bondo shrinks. It kind of gives me that dried lava look in a few places. While that dries, it's back to my Ghostbusters Afterlife Death Whistle. I am linking the video up here where I worked on this before, and this is my fourth version of this. I didn't like my version using the kids' oven-baked clay, and then I didn't like the one that I made using the oil-based monster clay, and I'm now using Sculpey Firm oven-baked clay. I binge-watched a few episodes of Ace of Clay, and this is what he recommends and uses, and I am really liking this one much better. I am sculpting this a bit with my Dremel and a stone grinding bit. In the end, I know I want to cast this, and I'm going to have to fill in some of these holes that I'm now creating in the clay, but I want to see what it looks like. And here's more of me being dumb. I'm going to hollow out the whistle part of this because I want to see what it looks like, and I'm going to need to carve out the ear part of the loops so that you can run that lanyard through. All of this stuff I'm going to have to fill with clay when I cast it, but I just want to see what the final look of this is. And now I'm working on a bit more fine-tuning using the etching bits for the Dremel. So what you didn't see is I thought the old jaw was too large, and I went inside, sculpted, and baked a new one, and I'm liking this one much better. But now I am 100% sure the Boba texture is good and dry now. Obsessed much? Yeah, look at this. This texture is exactly what I hoped for. So shiny and a perfect base for chrome. I hit it with the Montana Gold Chrome, and now for the toothpaste. Finally, I'm adding toothpaste to the parts that I will still want to be shiny when I'm done adding color to the helmet. I'm trying to just blot it on and try not to be too perfect with the placement of the toothpaste. Now I'm going to line the edge of the helmet band with painter's tape. There's so much damage on this, you really don't have to be perfect on any of the masking or taping. It's very forgiving. And now a coat of green again. I'm going to unmask and wipe off the toothpaste, and I'm almost done with my projects for today. I find it works well with a dry run of paper towel first, then wipe it off with some water on the paper towel to get the remainder of the toothpaste off, and it cleans up perfectly. I still have some more scratching and drawing out of that texture that I've added. I took some super strong Gorilla duct tape and stuck it to the green and then pulled it off over and over, and it removed tiny bits of paint here and there on the high spots, and it really brought out that texture and effect that I've created. Now, the weathering. I'm just adding brown and black water-based oils that will warm up that silver and make it look more like metal, and it will add dirt and grime to the still painted parts. Paint and blot, each time with different shades and more and less watered down. I'm trying to really add layers to bring out that texture and sell this helmet. I'm going to add some silver rub and buff here and there and add some of my powdered paint pigments to add dust in just a few places. Remember, this got drugged through the bowels of a desert sarlacc pit and it needs to show it. And here it is. I am finally finished. So I did have kidney stone surgery. They went in with a laser and found all kinds of scarring and removed stuff, and going to the bathroom isn't pleasant. I'm actually in a good deal of pain. But oddly enough, that's not the worst thing that's happened to me this week. As I've mentioned before on the channel, I started an in-store music business and have received a bunch of awards. A couple years ago, merged with an in-store video company. And I was just fired from the company that I created. I have no idea what my plans are. I have no idea. But the good news is, I'm trying to find a silver lining. I suddenly have all kinds of free time. Doing the challenge with Odin, we're fans of carbon freezing, and hell, I might as well finish this whole helmet. I guess I'll paint the whole thing since suddenly I have a ton of free time. I've, never been fired before, ever. And I've worked in radio for almost 20 years and left every time when I was ready to leave. And that's, I guess, unheard of. So this job that I got fired from was the company that I used to own. As I said, we merged with an in-store video company and they fired me right before Christmas from my own company. Merry Christmas. Oh, God. It sucks, but I'll make it work. Not sure how yet, but I'll figure it out. All right, the red area is toothpaste covered, and it's time to take it outside, paint it, and unmask it. This week is really starting to sink in. Kidney stones, surgery, and got fired all in 3 days at the end of the week, right before Christmas. Bah humbug. Hey, I never thought I was going to do this on this channel, and please feel no obligation, but I am going to set up a Patreon page. Shocking. And if you'd like to get involved, I will set up some behind the scenes and giveaways for Patreon members. And I don't want to dwell on this because I'm almost embarrassed that I'm even doing it, and I'm honestly not looking for sympathy to get Patreon members, but I will make it worth it to you. All right, I'm going to just move on and not talk about this anymore. All right, moving on. Wiping off the toothpaste, and time to mask the other shade of green on the back. Mask, paint, and unmask. Again, notice while I'm masking, I'm putting the painter's tape everywhere because, again, I like the little small bits of paint that will get removed when I pull it off. And this will be the darker green here. Toothpaste again, and unmask. One area of paint left, and it's the same color as the top. Mask and remove. Now, it's time for my favorite part. Time to weather with the same brown and black water-based oils, and I'm just barely changing the tones of color over and over again, dabbing it on and wiping it off, and I'm doing it over and over again. Most humans would stop, but remember, I've got plenty of time to kill. It's not like I've got a job to get ready for, so, yeah. The death whistle I will come back to, and the little greeblies and bits and pieces of the helmet, I honestly haven't even looked at them yet. But I'm going to throw some close-ups at the end of the video so you can see some of the texture, but I'm calling the Post-Sarlacc Boba Fett helmet finished. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. As of right now, it's all I've got. If you don't, as always, just keep it to yourself, and we'll see you next time as we try to finish something. Don't forget the Patreon. I said I wasn't going to bring it up again.